Hello, everybody. This is Carlos, and oh man, got a great discussion for you today. Oh, we gonna deal with it, y'all. We gonna deal with it. Look at me. I got on my Tuskegee University cap. I'm adorned like a brand new neophyte, like I just crossed, the line or something. Oh my! I got all my neophyte hype going, y'all. I got my Tuskegee U shirt. I got my McDonough 35. Very proud of these institutions. And then in the background, you see I am SWAC, because I am SWAC. There's levels to this. I know Tuskegee is not in the SWAC. I know that. But I am SWAC. And more on that later. I'll tell you why. Unlike some folks who like, if I ain't SWAC, who is SWAC? Look, if I ain't SWAC, look, I have a legitimate claim to SWAC them. And we'll talk about that later. But I am here to say, I am SWAC, and I'm here to say, man, oh man, Coach Robinson was right. Coach Robinson was right. Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., he told us, if you remember, he said, you remember those words? He said, he ain't SWAC. And my man said, I'm SWAC. Told y'all, he ain't SWAC, I'm SWAC. So what did that mean? What did that mean? And later on he said, I'm standing on the shoulder of SWAC greats. And then he gave some names, some obscure that we may not know. And we're going to talk about that as well. What did he mean when Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., the coach for Alabama State University, just running it back for y'all, some who may not know. Coach of Alabama State University in Montgomery, during or after the game, they got beat by Jackson State University, who was being coached by Coach Prime at the time. And there was a big kerfuffle afterwards, and he wouldn't give Prime a hug. And in the press conference, he said, I'm SWAC. Jack, this is Alabama State's coach, said, I'm SWAC. He ain't SWAC. And I got to tell you, y'all, up until that time, I have always been with Deion, with Coach Prime. And this is where we got to talk. We have to be able to talk in nuance. So I'm saying he's not SWAC. I'm saying I agree with Coach Robinson Jr. because I started investigating some things at that time. This was in October, y'all. And now here in December, Coach Prime is taking the job with Colorado University. And you have some black folks are up in arms about it. And then some black folks are saying, well, he went after the bag. What's wrong with that? And I'm here to tell you 5 reasons why Coach Prime ain't SWAC. Why Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. was absolutely right. Now, when I say he's not SWAC, I want you to hear me right now. I didn't say Deion is not black. I didn't say that Coach Prime is not a good coach, a great coach. He coached Jackson State to an undefeated season and a SWAC championship this year. Not saying he's not a great dad. By all accounts, seems like he's a lovely dad, a wonderful father to his children. I'm not saying he's not a great football player. I mean, I still say, and it doesn't just go by me, I mean, the numbers ferret it out. I believe he's the best defensive back that ever played in the NFL. I mean, he would shut down a whole side of an offense. They wouldn't pass the ball to a whole side that he was on. I'm not saying that he's got to give up his black card. I'm not saying any of that. What I am saying is There's levels to everything. So what am I getting at here? There's levels to stuff. It's like this, yo. Okay, I'm from New Orleans. And if you're from a major city, you'll follow with this. I'm from New Orleans, and whenever someone says that they're from New Orleans, then my next question always is, okay, what high school did you go to? Now that's a test, right? That's a test to see if they're really from New Orleans, because people are always claiming that they're New Orleanians and they're from wherever, right? You know, I don't want to disparage any other town that folks are from, but I'm just saying, say that you're from that. So it's just like this. When he says he's SWAC, well, wait a minute. You're SWAC because, wait a minute, you went to Florida State. You didn't even go to an HBCU. And then when asked about why didn't you go, well, no one asked me to go. Really, Deion? Really? I mean, you knew all about, look, everybody knew how to get the FAMU when it came to having some enjoyment, let's just say it that way. So he knew FAMU then, but you didn't know FAMU when it came to matriculating at a HBCU. And I'm just saying, even with all of those other superlatives, even with all of your great father, great player, you ain't SWAC, bro. You didn't want to be SWAC back then. I don't know why you want to be SWAC now. Don't be a tether. You ain't SWAC. You don't want it. And you know how I know you don't want it? You didn't want it then. And now after 3 years, you're going to Colorado University. Man, I mean, yeah, that's real SWAC, Deion. That's real SWAC. Oh man. I'm saying that it was all a finesse. As it relates to his SWACdom, or just like HBCU, being an HBCU coach and all what he told those kids, and this whole impression that he gave that he was going to be putting spiritual matters above that which is, you know, getting the bag, as we say. It was a finesse. It was all just a finesse. Not unlike, look, the reason why this stuff, I'm so passionate about it, we keep getting fooled by this, y'all, and we have got to stop. We as Black people have got to stop falling for the finesse. Anytime somebody like President Obama, after those heinous killings at the Methodist Church, he sings Amazing Grace, and we just melt. There was no reparations done for that family. There was no real justice done in that case. If you remember, that young white kid walked in and killed those people, and they brought him to have a burger before they even brought him to jail, talking about the police. And then here we come because he sings Amazing Grace, and we just start melting as a people. Just like, not unlike Representative Pelosi and the rest of them, they put on garb and took a knee, and oh yeah, they must be down for the fight. But the most egregious case, and the case that this reminds me of, this Deion Sanders thing reminds me of, is when bishops and church folks like Paul S. Morton here left the city of New Orleans mid-Katrina. You get a chance, check out this article. The levees and church leadership failed the people of New Orleans. Yes, I lived through it. Yes, they did. It was terrible. It was terrible what they did. Instead of opening the vaults of the storage that held the tithes, as in Malachi 3 and 10, those who are not in Christendom, this is when churches want you to give a tithe, they always go to Malachi. They don't read it for nothing else, but for when they want to start begging, then they start talking about, will a man rob God? They start reading out of Malachi then. But if you have an honest appraisal of that church scripture, this writer is absolutely right. The reason why you're putting tithes into the storehouse, just to follow this scripture here, is so that the people would be able to have these provisions when a peril comes. The terrible part about it is that when the peril came, they left. When the peril came, they left. So they weren't really down for the fight. They were in it for the money. How do I deduce that? Because they followed the money. You're going to tell me that, look, stop saying stuff is spiritual then. Don't talk in spiritual terms if you don't want me to evaluate you spiritually. If you want to talk in economic terms, then just stay economic terms. Just stay X's and O's on the field. Just stay talking about dollars and cents and programs and what it takes to run a program. Just talk about that. Don't start talking about, and we have to stop letting them, stop talking about God called me and I had to answer. This is his quote. He started speaking in mission in terms as if this is a mission. And I'm going to let you off the hook here. My wife, myself, my family, we are missionaries. It means something to us. The dilemma is that the dilemma, y'all, is that as missionaries, we don't really talk about what we do. We just do it. This morning, well, it began days ago. This stuff takes a lot of planning. I want to talk to you about the work of a missionary. We run Lighthouse Marriage Ministries, and weeks ago we planned for this morning's giveaway. My wife had a vision, Queenie had a vision to make it very nice for Christmas so that they can have hot meals this morning. And this took a lot of planning, and so that they could have nice things for the Christmas season, things that they asked for, like sleeping bags and jackets and underwear and socks, and so that they would have everything that they asked for. And through the good work of the ministry, this ministries are people, through the good work of the people, we had enough provision to order these things, and so that we could give back in the mission field in a big way. So those of us who are missionaries, when we hear language of a missionary, we take it to heart. There's some passion in this. And I was on board. I was totally on board with Prime, man. Shame on him. God called me and I had to answer. This is missionary talk. I have a mission to do. God gave me this work and I have to do it. Most of these kids don't have a father, so I have to be their father figure. This is him talking. This marriage between Jackson State University and myself, this is a match made in heaven. And then later on, when Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. questioned his SWACness, if you will, man, he started speaking like a Baptist preacher. Oh, I feel like talking today. Wait a minute. If I ain't SWAC, who is SWAC? If I ain't SWAC, it's like a call and response. And I have to tell y'all, I'm raising my hand. I fell for it. I fell for it because he's a great player. And he talks the talk. But then I looked up Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. It's like, man, there's something about this brother. He's not trying to, I could tell you don't really want to be in the press conference, but he has to do it. And when he says he ain't SWAC, he started mentioning other people. He didn't mention himself. This is quite different from Coach Prime, y'all, who's always talking about himself or his children. Yeah, we're going to be real. We're just going to be real today. Don't speak in missionary language if you're not true to the mission. Said differently. Let me show it to you like this. This is what's called the life value system. There's 10 life values and they're ranked in order. This is when our life is in order, especially those of us who do put that which is spiritual over that which is monetary. Now, it's interesting because this is your Waba, right? This is the Young, Wealthy, and Black Academy. But I'm telling you, like we always say, health is wealth. That which is spiritual is wealth. Let's start there. That's why we always start with the foundationals of our emotional well-being, our spiritual well-being, our health. This is the correct order of things. You see how that spiritual is first, health, family. You see how those internal measures are first, and then the people-pleasing types of things are secondary. Mobility, education, profession, leisure, and then last is money. So when folks tell me, well, he had to go after the money, it's like, well, wait a minute. He is the one that established that which is spiritual first. If he would have established that which is monetary first and didn't talk, let me go back to it, y'all. I'm going by what the man said out of his mouth. He said it's a calling from God and he had to answer. This is words from his mouth. So if you speak in that language, then I have to address the fact that, wait a minute, the fact that you left these kids, these parents, this place, this mission field for money, that doesn't jive well with me. And it shouldn't jive well with you. We cannot afford to keep doing this as a people. This is why I'm so passionate. I want to sing the song, I who have nothing. we who have so little by way of material wealth, we must lean on our spiritual, our emotional, our music, our tie to that which is spiritual. And then we must cause this to bring us wealth, not the other way around. And we can't keep falling for these charlatans that do it the other way around. The mission field of, if we go along with Deion, with Coach Prime, if we go along with him, then, man, the mission field of Jackson, Mississippi, this is a great mission field. And this is why I got caught up as well, because I love Jackson, Mississippi. There's some dear friends that I know and love from that town. So I can understand why right now, today, that this announcement has gone out, that this man is leaving to go for more money. People are hurt in Jackson, Mississippi. They feel put upon, and they should feel put upon. We can't afford this type of charlatanism. Be it from a coach, be it from a preacher, we got to stop it. This is where we are, be it from a politician, no matter where it's coming from. Look at this, from Truman to Trump. This is from the Black Demographics website. Look it up, fact check it. Median income of black folk in America is still around 30 grand. Doesn't matter who's the president is what this is showing. We're still lagging behind the U.S. average and by a large number. So anytime someone can help to increase can put the focus on people that are hurting, particularly Black people that are hurting in an area, then I want to go along with that. And this is what I thought Deion was doing. This is why I bought in. Furthermore, if you look at Jackson, Mississippi, we're proving how I do believe God is telling folks that Jackson, Mississippi is an apt missionary field, no doubt about it, because I look at these demographics. This is a Black city, y'all. 82% Black. Look at these numbers. 82% Black. Black household makeup. If you look at the makeup of the household of Black folks, 29% are single woman-led families. You see that? 29% single woman-led, not 5% single male-led, 25% married couple. But there's an overwhelming amount of folks that are being raised by a single mother. That resonates with me. I'm the product of a single mom. Can you see how all of these things that he talked about, how this would resonate with people and particularly resonate with folks in Jackson, Mississippi, and Jackson State University that is in Jackson, Mississippi. Look at that Black labor force. Look at that. We're gonna have to deal with this more. I just want to at least note this here. The percent in the labor force. So there's more Black men than Black women in the labor force, but look at that white collar number. So if you look at office type jobs and teaching type jobs, education, 62% are Black women, 26% are Black men. That's something to explore there. You look at service jobs, Black women outpace Black men again, but then blue collar jobs, overwhelmingly Black men outpace Black women. I don't know the reasons behind this. I just think it's striking. We're just proving that this is a good mission field. The population, you have 120,000 Black folks, 25,000 white folks. When you look at the median income, 37,000 is the median income for Black folks, almost double for white folks. Families in poverty, 23%. Families in poverty, almost 7 times more families in poverty than white folks in that city. And this is a predominantly Black city. Percent employed, 56% Black, 57% white. Another way to say that is 44% are unemployed then, right, of Black. This is a good mission field, y'all. This is a place, this is the type of city where someone with the type of pull and the type of energy and focus that Mr. Sanders has could go a long way. But it takes longer than 3 years. It takes longer than 3 years, y'all. Mission work. This is not a 3-year gig. That's why we're hurt. Don't start talking mission talk. Those of us on the mission field, this ain't no 3-year type of thing, y'all. And this ain't I'm going to work on this mission field with folks that are impoverished and are needy, and then I'm going to take the road that's the easy road for money after 3 years. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Other characteristics: bachelor degree or higher, Blacks 22%, 57% whites, homeowners, about 50% Black folks own a home, and then percent married, 27% to 44%. Lots of reasons for that. This is not the purpose of this. The purpose of this talk is this is a good mission field. Folks need help. Black folks need help in this city. And we believed because he said it, that Deion would help him. Second reason why Deion ain't SWAC, and what do I mean when I say Deion's not SWAC? I'm saying he's not really down for the mission of helping Black people. He's not really down. Why am I saying that? Look at the way he overtalked and dismissed coaches and others who weren't they weren't enamored with everything that he does. They took opposition with some things that he does. Look at his response to it. Why am I bringing this up? Because when you're in mission work, when you're in work to help the people, guess what? Oh, they're going to have a lot of things to say about how you do things, how you say things. And you have to really look inward to get better. Because why? Because I want to help them. If take a moment here, take a little woosah moment. If my point for being a missionary, for being a revolutionary, for being someone whose life work is to help my people, when my people say, hey, Los, that was hurtful the way you said that, I got to take a look at what they said because I want to help them. I don't want to help. I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to leave them. I want to help them. We got to do this together. There's no big I's and little U's. I'm not in it for fame. Y'all going to honestly say that primetime, Neon Deion was not in this for the fame. You may not have thought about it. Think about it now, though. You really think that this wasn't just a stepping stone to get to this, what they call Power 5 conference, which is basically PWI schools, predominantly white institutions. That's what he wanted to do all along, y'all. How do we know that? Well, they wouldn't have them before. Oh, man. Let me stay on task here. This is the second reason why Deion ain't SWAC. He ain't really for the culture. He's not down as we thought he was because he overtalks folks who have a different point of view than his. And folks who are just as well-versed in the sport, deserves to be a coach, deserves to be heard, overtalks him. All right, let's take a look at it. Let's go to, some folks haven't seen it. It's kind of old now, but because some folks may have not had a chance to see it, I want you to at least see what happened. Okay, this is at the conclusion of the Alabama State University and Jackson State University football game in October of this year of 2022. Let's take a look at it.
The last play of the game. And that does it. Jackson State moves
Coach Prime
to
coming out.
5-0, 12th straight conference win for the Tigers.
Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. coming out.
Of the Hornets, 26-12 is the final score.
That's
a little heated exchange there in midfield between Coach Prime and Coach Eddie Robinson Jr.
All right, so y'all saw what happened. This is at the end of the game, and Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., he pretty much pushed Prime off. He didn't want to give a hug. He shook hands, and he didn't want to bro hug Coach Prime. Just so you know, Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. is not any relation to the great, famous Coach Eddie Robinson from Grambling. He was born What a great coaching name. All right. And then after this, okay, of course, the presser, there's going to be a hot press conference after this. So what was the reason? What's going on? What's going on? Why would there be this type of energy from this coach? Let's see.
Well, I guess me being up front is just like, I thought it was a lot of disrespect the whole week. And so you're not going to be disrespectful the whole week in the media. We didn't talk in the pregame. I was out there the whole time at the 50-yard line. He walked through our whole our whole huddle on our end zone and came a long way around and get to his side of the field in the pregame. Thought that wasn't classy at all. And so in the postgame, I'm not about to give you the Obama bro hug.
So, look, and there's a lot of back and forth about this. Coach Prime said that he's got a certain routine that he goes through. He didn't mean any disrespect by not addressing Coach Robinson Jr. And, as far as I'm concerned, I don't believe Prime is lying about that. It is customary, though, for coaches to shake hands before a game. That is customary. And if Coach Prime didn't do that, maybe he forgot. But I'm not here that this is just conjecture. I'm not here to really comment on that part. But this is how he took it in the moment.
I'm gonna shake your hand. I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna always be respectful and respect the game. You got the great guys, W.C. Gordons, Eddie G. Robinsons, those guys, Reno Chasm. I'm living on the shoulders of the SWAC. He ain't SWAC. I'm SWAC. He ain't SWAC.
This was a turning point for me, y'all. Why? Because he didn't hype himself up. Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. talked about those stalwart coaches that went on before him, and then he talked about that he's SWAC, that Coach Prime isn't SWAC. What does this mean? What do we mean by this? Do we just dismiss it? What do you mean I don't dismiss it, y'all, because I went to Tuskegee University. And when all right, here's an example. When I got a couple examples. I can remember being in Dr. Fluker's class, and anyone who went to Tuskegee U, when I say Dr. Fluker, they smile. Dr. Fluker was super pro-Black, but he endowed us with the ability to have critical thinking as it relates to Black issues. What do I mean? There are students from New York who would come to Tuskegee and almost down talk Tuskegee, like, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. And I remember Dr. Fluker stopped them mid-sentence and said, well, but Tuskegee is a school that accepted you. You see, you're here, you didn't go to Columbia. Columbia didn't accept you. You didn't go to NYU. You didn't go to all these other schools. They didn't accept you. Tuskegee accepted you, and for that reason, you should not disparage her. You see this? You see how he was creating a culture. He was creating a kinsmanship. He was creating a tribe amongst Tuskegee University grads. This is what Coach Robinson Jr. is talking about. You hear other SWAC NFL players talk about how, and not just SWAC, but SWAC is a specific division. It stands for Southwestern Athletic Conference. This is a division amongst HBCUs. There are others. SEAC is one, Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. I could be wrong, but I know that Tuskegee was in the SEAC, SIAC. from what he's saying, I'm going to infer. He's not so much saying that Deion he didn't go to a SWAC school, Alabama State, Southern, Prairie View. There's multiple SWAC schools. As much as he's talking about the kinship amongst HBCU grads. And then you hear other grads, other NFL players talk about how they would have amongst the HBCU grads who were lucky enough to play NFL, which is a small number, y'all. They had a kinship. This is what he's talking about. And when you try to make little of this kinship, then folks have a right to be upset. And this is what Coach is dealing with here. Okay, let me continue.
So he's in the conference and doing a great job. Can't knock that. Got a great team. Son should be up for the Heisman Trophy winner. I love Shador. Great player. I love what he's doing for the conference. Probably one of the best things we had since that Steve McNair when he was in there. Love all of that, but you're not gonna come here and disrespect me and my team and my school and then want to bro hug. Shake my hand and get the hell on. Period. You got the W, great job. I hope he comes back next year. I pray he don't get a Power 5 job so we can play them next year. MJ.
He said, I pray that he doesn't get a Power 5 job. Man, so he knew, right? So he knew what Deion was after. He knew that this is just a stepping stone. And all of this, you have to understand, Deion has been talking about all the things that's wrong with HBCUs, and I had to do this and I had to do that. And he even talked about Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., how he didn't demand enough money when they went and played a PWI early in the year, UCLA, and he named numbers and everything. This is disrespectful, y'all. Do you understand how this is disrespectful? This would be like me coming into your house and saying, oh, that couch doesn't belong over here, it belongs over here. Or this doesn't belong, this one. Now, again, missionary minded. To help folks, you have to find a way to tell them, you know what? Look, I'm going to give you this food today, but the next time I come, here, would you like a rake? The area around your area, there's nothing wrong with cleaning up that area. Clean up your area. If I give you a rake, would you take it? You see how I did that? So, yeah, there's things that in a mission field that you see wrong and you should address it, but there's a way to do it. And also, if I was addressing that, someone who I felt could do better, even within their current circumstances, I would do it one-on-one. Deion blasted this coach about how he didn't handle business well on this UCLA deal, and he blasted him in the press. He didn't. You hear this coach saying over and over again, Deion doesn't talk to me. We ain't friends. Why not? Why is Deion fixing his mouth to talk about this man's business as a coach, what he should have done as far as this UCLA game? Look it up, y'all. It's out there. Why is he fixing his mouth to talk about that, but he won't pick up the phone and talk to this man? They both were in the NFL. This is when it started kind of unraveling for me, y'all. Continue.
Jackson, and I pray they put us for their damn homecoming.
Coach, would you describe it? Were you just trying to pull away from his handshake there?
Yeah, I was just pulling away. I mean, we handshaked and that was it. I mean, it ain't no need for no embrace. You know, we ain't friends. He ain't never called me. I ain't never called him. Great player. Everybody wanted to goddamn be prime time as a little kid.
He keeps saying, you know, there's a lot of. All right, I got a couple things. So in my research, right, I'm like, who is this dude? There's something about this cat. I would hang with him. Then I find out he's from New Orleans, and I find out he's a Q. It's like, yeah, okay. There's some traits. There's a lot of manhood coming out of this cat, and there's another manhood point there. Wait a minute, don't be trying to don't be trying to make it, don't put on airs. Don't be making it look like we friends out here when you don't pick up the phone and call me. In fact, you disparage me in the press instead of calling me, and now you're out here after the game, now you want to hug me. Man, don't play me. I'm here for it. I'm with him with that. Don't fool me. Just be the same way all the time.
All right, great player, all of that. Played against him, got tons of respect for the guy. Doing a great job as a coach, but you can't do all that stuff all week, and then you come back, put your backup quarterback, and you want to run a hitch and go to try to put more points on the board. Shit's disrespect. Game was out of line. It was 26-12. 40 seconds left. We had no timeouts. Take a damn knee. You want to try to run a hitch and go. So we started blitzing. We're going to knock him out the game, too. So that's how we got to play it. I mean, it ain't no quarters given. So
little football etiquette here. At the end of a game, when you know that the victory is in hand, it's customary to either run the ball, just a simple run, a very simple run play, or to take a knee. Any would be that this is the unwritten etiquette rules of football when the game is in hand. You do not run a somewhat complex pattern, a go route. Hitch and go is a wide receiver kind of stutters like he's stopping and then go. It's a long pass play, like you're trying to score again. That's rubbing your nose. That is being disrespectful. And then as a coach, you do something to stop it. So the coach is saying, well, so we sent them dogs on them.
You want to do that, don't come with me and try to bro hug me like we're friends. We ain't friends. You didn't shake my hand before the game. Why you shaking my hand after the game? Period. That's it.
One of the comments that kind of disturbed me out of all the comments.
All right, so I got them both coming together. So you see what Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. had to say. Now here comes Coach Prime doing the press conference, and they asked him about it. And then this is Coach Prime. Hear him. I'm just gonna let him have his say.
That I'm not SWAC. Who is? I got time today.
See how it's like he's like a Baptist preacher. I got time today. Who is? And then he's going to do this call and response. Who is? Who is SWAC? Hey, Deion, I'm SWAC. You got time? How about Gilda Young Parnell? She's SWAC. That's my mama. How about Kenneth Young? My daddy, he's SWAC. They both went to Southern. You got time? We'll keep naming some names, Deion. This is the part I'm saying. This is like somebody coming to your house and putting their dirty feet up on your couch. You're not. He's talking out of line here.
Who is SWAC? If I ain't SWAC, who is SWAC?
Eddie Robinson.
If I ain't SWAC, who is SWAC?
Doug Williams.
If I ain't SWAC, who is SWAC?
Dr. Ruth Simmons.
Who is?
Air McNair.
What more?
Mm-hmm. Got it, Deion? You got to do some homework, brother. This is different. It's a little different kind of deal here. We have pride. We have pride in our kinship, and that's what Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. was saying. Yeah, you're not SWAC, and you proved it on that day. You're not SWAC, and you continue to prove it. You proved it on that day, and now, sir, you continue to prove why you ain't SWAC. Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. was right. He was absolutely correct. Let's continue. Who is SWAC? Eddie Robinson. This is Eddie Robinson of Grambling, not Eddie Robinson Jr. of Alabama State. Eddie Robinson is SWAC. Just want to give him some shine. 56 years he had coached Grambling State. You talk about a mission. 56 years this man was on the mission field. From 1941 to 1942. 9 bowl games. 408 and 165 coaching record. Who is SWAC? Deion, you should do a little homework. Man, there is some greatness within these divisions, within the HBCU ranks. There's some greatness, and it should be lauded, and it shouldn't be played with. Who is SWAC? Eddie Robinson is SWAC. Who else did Eddie Robinson Jr. mention? He mentioned Marino Kasem. Marino Kasem was known as the Godfather. I mean, he was an organizational giant, a coaching giant. Look at his superlatives. Oh, man. Let me switch it over. Y'all not seeing it. Eddie Robinson Jr. I was talking to it. Eddie Robinson Jr. Now I want to talk about Coach Kasem, known as the Godfather. 22 seasons on that mission field at Alcorn. Then additional time he spent at Southern University. He was named the SWAC Hall of Fame in 92, College Hall of Fame in 1998, and Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame in 03. Who is SWAC? Coach Kasem is SWAC. You're not SWAC, bro. You could be, but you got to put the work in, man. And it ain't just no 3 years and then you leave for the bag. And we got to stop giving people, man, look, I think we're too quick to give people our jewels, right? A jewel is the respect of an elder who has gone and done much work, or the respect of someone who went to an HBCU, matriculated on those campuses, and was able to make good and make the HBCU proud. This is different. This is different from someone who went to a PWI. It has to be. Can you see that has to be different? Not saying, I'm not even talking better or worse here. I'm just saying it's at least different. There's something that's distinctive about it. And you can't go to Florida State, play around with young ladies from FAMU and think you're SWAC. That's not what makes you SWAC, bro. I wanted it real. We're going to keep it all the way real. He's SWAC. And you probably don't know, I know this young man, I'm saying young man, he was probably about the same age. I know you probably don't know Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., so, he's worth knowing. He has done great things in his own right. Look at him. He graduated with a scholarship from Alabama State University in chemistry. That's not easy. While playing football at linebacker, All-American linebacker at that, All-SWAC, All-American Defensive Player of the Year, All-American Toyota Leadership. I have these things highlighted, things that would indicate your prowess on the mission field, right? So what does it mean to be SWAC? What does it mean to be down for the culture? I'm highlighting some of these things here. He has a business called Magnolia River LLC, is another laudable thing this is something where he can help other people, other black folks. Houston youth baseball, particularly the Sunnyside area. Y'all, the Sunnyside area of Houston is a tough mission field, y'all. He put together a baseball team there for those youths. This is what I'm talking about. We gotta quit putting laurels on folks for things that they don't deserve. Heck, Deion, he gets all kind of laurels. Let's look at, and last thing before I get off of Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., he played in the NFL, y'all. He played for a linebacker. He played with Houston, Jackson, Tennessee, and Buffalo. So he was in the NFL as well. Coach Sanders, he just received his degree, better late than never, from Talladega College. Some say the reason why he did it was so that he can get this coaching job with Jackson State. I wouldn't doubt it. Glad the brother got a degree, though. I'm not going to disparage that. Collegiate athletics, football, baseball, and track at Florida State. Two-time All-American, Jim Thorpe Award, retired his jersey. He had a .331 batting average as a baseball player at Florida State. 27 stolen bases, and he was on a FSU track team championship team. In the NFL, defensive end, wide receiver, and special teams, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, that should pretty much do it. That's a very, very small number of folks that play that well in NFL to be in that Hall of Fame. And Deion, rightfully so, is in the Hall of Fame. Atlanta, Dallas, San Francisco, Washington, Baltimore are teams that he played on and played on a very high level, championship level. In the Major League Baseball, he played center field for Cincinnati, for Atlanta, for New York Yankees, for the San Francisco Giants. Serviceable center fielder in Major League Baseball as well. Then you come to his business pursuits. Prime Prep Academy in Dallas started out with a great mission. There's another apt mission field there, but the school went defunct. More on that later. Coaching, Prime Prep, JSU, started in 2020 and now Colorado for 2023. I highlight areas that are Black serving missionary related areas. So if I want to look at someone that's most missionary focused, just by their what they've done as far as helping Black folks, then Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. might get the nod. But I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to judge that. I'm really here to judge the fact that last one, that JSU 2020, he told us that he was on that mission field. That's what we're here to talk about. Third, why you ain't SWAC, bro? Because you just worried about securing a bag for you and your children. You ain't worried about those players you went and recruited. Man, come on, y'all. We're acting like folks don't have a right to be upset. Do you know how disappointing it would be do you understand that coaches, when you have a player that is good enough to play for a college program, do you know that those coaches sit in your house? The coaches come to your home. Do you know that? So this man sat in people's home, or a very high representative from Jackson State. And really, when it came to those blue chippers, I'm sure it was Prime. Sat in the home of these players and told them how, we're going to be here. We're going to take care of your son. And we're going to make sure he's going to be getting him ready for the league. I mean, they make all these promises. Wasn't worrying about these people, man. He was worrying about securing the bag for himself and for his children. The hell with those players and parents. The hell with the culture that embraced him at Jackson State University and the city of Jackson, the institution. Man, I'm not worried about all that. I'm going to Colorado. Come on, man. We're going to go from Jackson State to Colorado, and we're not even supposed to blink at that? Oh, well, you just had to get the money. No, he told us that he was on a different value system. So don't tell me about he had to get the money. He didn't say that he was on this value system, the lost value system. Because if he would have just fessed up and said, hey, I'm on this value system, then cool. We'd have went with it. Look at this value system. This is where it's no longer a circle like in that life value system. Now it's an inverted pyramid, and it's inverted because that which is most important has the most width, right? So our accumulation of possessions, this is the most important thing. And this is what I'm saying, that it's clear this is the system that Coach Prime is on. He's worried about that bag. how we choose to spend our personal time, leisure. What's our contribution to the world, profession? See there, that's why, this is why some boxers and some football players, they don't know when to stop. They're putting profession above all. And not just athletes, some folks in the business world, they can't stop. These jobs are killing us mentally, and we just keep, but I'm a nurse, so I got to keep going. I'm a teacher, so I got to keep going and get my butt kicked. And then you just end up dying in the classroom, I guess. Anyway. What we know and fully comprehend is knowledge, and go on and so forth. And then at the bottom is that which is spiritual. But see, this isn't how he presented himself. If he would have presented himself this way and then went after the bag, then I wouldn't even have anything to talk about. He presented himself as on a mission from God. Now that which is spiritual is all the way at the bottom. This is what he should have depicted. Look at the very bottom. I don't know if you can see that. Each value is individually upside down. We only value 6 to 10 if we can monetize it. Man. It's looking a lot like Neon Deion. If I can monetize that which is spiritual, then yeah, I'll go along with it. If I can monetize my being familial, saying that I'm going to help these kids that are part of single family homes, I can monetize that. I'm gonna pull at the heartstrings. And then appearance, always with the Coach Prime, got it on his back, always about me, always advertising, always marketing. This is all well and good if what you're after is the bag. If what you're after is the bag, then yeah, that's well and good. But if what you're after is the mission, then missionaries promote others. We are looking to help other people. That's our main focus. We had some clues, y'all. Go and look it up. Dallas Morning News, the spectacular collapse of Deion Sanders Prime Prep Academy. This was in 2016. Look at that. The now infamous Prime Prep Academy shut its door permanently a year ago with less than an hour's notice. Students walked away from the Dallas and Fort Worth campuses with no school. Employees were left without jobs or paychecks for their final month of work. Now, this is what's interesting about this. See, those who are talking about, oh, he had to get the bag, The dilemma with making money your God, you only care about your own money. What about these people's money? If money is so important, it's not important that they're paid. With tears and anger, the state's most hyped and scrutinized charter, thanks in part to co-founder Deion Sanders, ceased to exist. Ceased to exist. That ain't right. You can't say I'm on a mission and then you just shut your doors when trouble comes. We had clues. Deion is no missionary. He's a capitalist. These are starkly opposed things. And this is why when you start saying that, well, he had to get the bag, well, wait a minute. Now you're talking like a capitalist. You're talking like a capitalist for him. But he was speaking as a missionary. August 2020, he went ahead and got his degree from Talladega. The tagline, the last line in this article, you can look this one up as well on HBCU Game Day. The last line, now Talladega needs from Sanders what every HBCU needs from its alumni, the willingness to pay it forward. You ever talk to folks from HBCUs? You talk to people from HBCUs and we're always talking about how we need to help someone else, how we need to help our people. It's drilled into us. It was drilled into us at Tuskegee. Same thing at McDonald 35, this t-shirt that I'm wearing. Mantra is a choice, not an echo. It was drilled into us. We helped the next ones behind us. We taught them, we coached them. I don't know that same thing happens at PWIs. Talk about it in the discussion if it is, but the conversations that folks have around here at PWIs, I don't know that it's to this level. Let's put it that way, like at an HBCU. I don't think that each one teach one. I don't know that it's at this level. This is another reason why, Deion, you ain't SWAC. Coach Eddie Brown Jr. was right. And this is how we convey to the world. This is speaking to the appearance again. Him going to Talladega College, was it just for show? I don't know. I'm wondering. Now we get into the bag. Let's deal with it. So, what we just found out this weekend, hot off the presses, Deion Sanders, December 2022, accepted a job, pays for more than $5 million to go to Colorado University. This was in stark contrast to his 4-year contract with Jackson State, $1.2 million, $120,000 in bonuses, but 4-year at $300,000 a year. And then I have folks talking about, oh, he got pennies. Someone actually said he got pennies at Jackson State. I'm like, pennies? $300,000 is pennies? Goodness. This is quite a different mission field. Said truthfully, this ain't no mission field at all now. Look at Jackson, Mississippi. You got a predominantly black city. Total population, 149, as we said before. 123,000 of that 149 is black folks. Jackson is a black city, so if you want to help black folks, that's a apt mission ground. Boulder, Colorado, 104,000 population, 1,000 are black. And y'all trying to tell me this dude was on the mission? Look at the income and poverty, the differences of these two cities. Median income, Jackson City, Mississippi. I'm going to take that per capita is more like it, that 22,008 in the middle plays against 49,000. But any way you look at it, the median household or the per capita takes into account everyone in the household, whereas the per capita takes into account everyone in the community, man, woman, child, whereas the median household is just income earners. So I really think the per capita is a better measure. But at any rate, what you see here is a disparity between Boulder and Jackson in income. And persons in poverty, 20% in Boulder, 24% in Jackson. So all 6 ways to Sunday, Jackson is a much higher mission. When you talk about mission work, it's a more probable mission field than Boulder, Colorado. Now it's time to flip the script. or now it's time to talk about how you all, some of you all, and Prime is just flipping the script, using white supremacist value system as a measure of success. And this is HBCUs. This is not. We don't need to play. We don't need to play here. There is so much greatness in the way that we go about things at HBCUs. We don't have to measure all of our success in monetary terms. Hear me. I'm not saying that we don't need money at HBCUs. We do. We need to give back. We need to give our time, treasure, and talent to alma mater. Hear that well. But what I'm saying is there are spiritual things, there's emotional things, there's music, there's the arts, there's so many other things that cause our institutions to be great. We don't have to get on this system where we put money above everything. That's the point. Okay. So let's look at it here. So let's look at the difference and the reason why it makes no sense to try to compete on monetary terms. This is a ridiculous argument that folks are making right now. Total revenue for Jackson State University, $221.5 million. Total expenses, $121.4 million. Okay, this is a lot of times in discussions, we don't talk nuance enough, and the world is nuanced. We have to get into a nuanced discussion. So now let's look at Colorado University, or University of Colorado. Total revenues, $5.4 billion with a B dollars. A billion is 1,000 million. Operating expenses, $4.2 billion. This is totally different. This is a totally different scale that we're dealing with when we deal with some of these PWIs. So don't start talking to me about, well, he had to do this for the money. No, he didn't. If it was about the money, then why didn't he go to PWI to begin with? Because he couldn't. Stop using HBCUs. Comparison of JSU and CU income statements. So you look at that revenue number for JSU and for the University of Colorado. We talked about that before. You see that 221 plays against $5.4 billion, 221 million against 5.4 billion. What's the difference? $4.8 billion is the difference. Better words here, BW, that's a financial term. I'm not saying, Lord, I love JSU. I love, even though I didn't go there, y'all. This is not worse as in the institution is worse. This is a financial measure. Better, the number, better or worse. $4.8 billion difference here to the negative when you compare JSU to Colorado. Percentage-wise, that's a 184% difference. As if you look at it in multiples, this is 24 times more revenue at University of Colorado than JSU. So why are we trying to compare salaries at JSU to a salary at U of C to try to justify this man's decision? Expenses, $4.2 billion against 121 million of expenses. You see the differences here. It's a 34-time multiple. Net income, so this is how well they're handling their cash flows at JSU. On 221 million, they were able to retain 100 million. On 5.4 billion, University of Colorado is able to retain 1.2 billion on their books. This is a $1 billion difference in cash flows. If we just stop at the end of a year, University of Colorado is going to have $1.1 billion in free cash flow, and JSU will have 100 million. This is 12-time multiple difference. So don't tell me about a PWI versus a HBCU. This is two different things. Stop it. You don't know what you're talking about. You should be silent. You don't know what you're talking about. So learn. Revenue, same thing. Coaches' salaries, $300,000 for Coach Prime at JSU, $5 million he's able to make at University of Colorado. And if it could have been other PWIs. Oh yeah, whoopee, you can get more money at a PWI. Everybody knows that. That's not the reason why folks teach, coach, train. That's not why we do it. That's not why folks. Do you understand that a mission means that you have to be selfless? Do you understand that it means that instead of sleeping in late this morning, we were out giving food? Do you know that instead of doing whatever we wanted to do last night, that meant that my wife was preparing? And we don't get anything for our particular mission. It's not about the money at all. We don't get a dime. We cannot keep conflating that which is mission work with that which is capitalistic. We gotta stop it. And we have to stop allowing our leaders to do the same. This is why I'm so passionate about it. You're going to be a missionary, be a missionary. Stop telling me about the bag. You want to be a capitalist? Then okay, start your own business and be a capitalist. But when you started your own business, Mr. Sanders, it went defunct. So don't come to JSU using those beloved people and then leaving them high and dry. Shame on you. I continue. Got me so darn hot. It's ridiculous. Professor's salary. Oh, before we get to that, the percentage of revenue. I'm down here, y'all. I know it's numbers, but we got to deal with these numbers because this is how we're able to talk contextually and stop just saying stuff emotionally. Well, you had to go after the bag. No. Percentage of revenue on that coach's salary, that's 0.13% of JSU's revenue. It's 0.09% of University of Colorado's revenue. So on a percentage basis, actually, they gave you more love at Jackson State. They had less to deal with, yet they gave you more by percentage. You see that, folks? So can we just stop with he had to go after the bag? Jackson State treated him just fine. $300,000, that's nothing to sneeze at. Remember the median income? Median income of black folks there is less than $40,000. What are you talking about? $300,000 is pennies. Stop it. Oh, by the way, professors make $120,000. He's making $300,000. Professors, full professors at J State are making $120,000. Not different than our PWIs. He's going to make $5 million, and professors over at University of Colorado tend to make $210,000. So, are you not entertained? Clearly, we love our entertainment. Here's a side note, just as a memo. Coach Saban is the highest. Coach Saban is the football coach for Alabama. This man makes $10.7 million a year. Oh, Lord. So those are my 4 reasons that he ain't SWAC. Here's another one. It's the love, man. We are when my brothers and sisters at Jackson State University are hurting, I'm hurting too, and I went to Tuskegee. Why am I hurting? Because I know what that must feel like. I can't imagine a highlight type, high profile NFL type coach to come to Tuskegee and then leave after 3 years after getting everyone whipped up into a frenzy and leaving those kids and parents to fend for themselves, leaving everything up in a shamble and to do it for all of a sudden, now you're doing it for the money. It ain't about the money at the schools, y'all. HBCUs is about the love. It's about the love. When I do things for Tuskegee University, we do it for free. When we had a coffee business, the first time we did business with Tuskegee U, we donated the service. Why? Because we love Tuskegee University. We did it for the culture, for the love. Because we feel a kinship with HBCUs. HBCUs are we, and we are thee, and thee we all love. So my heart and my love goes out to y'all, Jackson State. We love y'all. Hang in there. It's going to get better. You've been doing great. You've had NFL caliber talent before Mr. Sanders got there, and you'll have all kinds of levels of high talent there at the football team, in the band, in the halls of scholarship, even going forward. Hang in there. I know it was hurtful, but this too will pass. So who is SWAC? Hey, Kenneth Young is SWAC. Went to Southern University. That's my daddy. Gilda Young is my mama. Went to Southern U. Look at Auntie Ruthie there in the court at Southern U back in the day. And then look at a young Carlos Young at Tuskegee University. Yeah, I'm SWAC. Yeah. You ain't no way you could be SWAC before me, Deion. Who's some other folks that are of the culture? I just want to talk about some luminaries that went to HBCUs. You got David Dinkins, mayor of New York, went to Howard. You got J.B. Smooth, comedian, went to Norfolk State. You got Ricky Smiley, went to Alabama State. The Sting years back. W.E.B. Du Bois went to Fisk. Spike went to Morehouse. Sam Jack went to Morehouse as well. And I moved my pumpkin head out of the way so y'all can see some more. We got Wilma Rudolph went to Tennessee State. Demetri Stockton went to North Carolina A&T. A lot of greatness at these hallowed halls, y'all. Be very proud. Not one person makes these universities. There's a lot of people that came on before and a lot of people that will continue to grace these halls. Why is it so important for HBCUs to stand and thrive? Look at this notice from the United Negro College Fund. Historically Black colleges who report higher income brackets also reported higher satisfaction with their HBCU networks. There we go again. There's a kinship, y'all. Better get in on some of this. By uncovering HBCU truth through data and research, the HBCU effect, this is what they're researching and studying. You can look them up at uncf.org. HBCU effect will illuminate how HBCUs yield a high return. Illuminate how HBCUs yield a high return on investment. What are we talking about here? Look over here. Yes, HBCUs can and do provide a high quality education. 70% of all doctors and dentists were produced by HBCUs. 50% of all Black engineers were produced by HBCUs. 50% of HBCU college graduates go on to graduate at professional schools. We generate $14.8 billion in positive economic impact annually, globally, as HBCU grads. You're darn right we're proud. We have a right to be proud. Don't you ever let anyone make light, make small, disparage don't take in high esteem HBCUs. And that's whether you went to one or not. Whether you went to an HBCU or not, hello, every black person, first of all, should respect HBCUs. And then I believe every American should, but we're going to start with black folks. You must respect HBCUs. When's the last time you visited one? Go ahead. Y'all right here in Houston, man, you got Prairie View, you got Texas Southern right here. You got Southern in Louisiana, you got a gang of them in Alabama, you got a bunch of them in Georgia, North Carolina, you got them all up and down the Eastern Seaboard. Come on, y'all. Take some pride. Thank you. I know I got real passionate on this one. Y'all should have expected me to. We're going to talk about HBCUs. What else would I do? God bless y'all. Thank you so much.